you cared for your hands lately? Your hands are the end of the meridian line that connects to your heart. Our hands do so much for us. It's time we give them some love. So you can do this practice seated or standing. I'm going to show you a few warm-up exercises to help bring some more awareness and circulation to the hands. This one, I call it Charlotte's Web. So your hands are not going to be touching. You're going to imagine that you're weaving a web. Oh, the webs we weave. Let this be a web of vitality, of nourishment, not a web of turmoil and stress. The delicacy, the intricacy of the web that you weave mirrors the intricacy of the web of your life. How do you want that to flow? Let's go in the other direction. Also good for your brain. And if you feel a couple of cracks, so just knowing that you're opening some areas that were tight. Now we'll go into the wave. Interlock your fingers. And as it sounds, a little wave. Maybe come up to the shoulders. Let's pause here, stretch the wrists and fingers. And the other way. This is a quickie that you can do any point during the day, but if you're feeling some emotional tension, this one is really nice. Take a break, 5 minutes or so. All right, now clasp the hands, and we're just going to do some figure eights with the hands, wrists. Lovely. These initial movements are, as I said earlier, to bring some circulation and really awareness to this area that does so much for us. Can you go in the other direction? Oh, maybe I'll have to recheck and see if I did that actually. All right, now just take the hands and shake them. Palms down. Now palms up. Nice fluid breath. All right. I'm going to do a couple of acupressure points on the hands. This first one, I'll come a little closer. This one's called the joining valley, or hagu. And this is right between, if you make a little fist, you see this area pop up between your first knuckle and your thumb knuckle. Right there, some circles. This one's great for headaches, generalized pain. It's connected to the large intestine, and it's often a go-to spot for many acupuncturists. You can give yourself your own acupressure. And so if you do take acupuncture, you continue your practice, the benefits you gain on your own. Other hand, you are in charge of how much pressure you're applying. You will feel this is quite a tender spot for most. I'm feeling it, but I'm not clenching my jaw, allowing some deep breath. So when you encounter some resistance, breathe into it. All right, now we'll go to this point called the back stream. It's outside the pinky, the back of the hand. I'm going to take my thumb and give a little circle there. This one's good for neck and back pain and knee pain. And my dad asked, well, how long do you have to do it? Give it a try. Experiment. This is not like one and done. But if you have a limited amount of time, do what you can. Let's do the other hand. I'm all for experimenting. So we're right right outside the pinky, back of the hand here. All right, now this next one's called the place of toil. It's between the first and second fingers. I'm going to take your thumb, just give a little, first of all, maybe just a little bit of friction. So you're on the palm of the hand between the first and the second finger. And maybe a little circle. This one is good for emotional stress, anxiety, depression, and many other things, but I chose to focus on those two today. And on the other hand, these acupressure points are really where the vortexes of energy can either be awakened or blocked. And this acupressure is opening that so that we can awaken, and you feel that flow of energy now is going to feel much more open between your heart and your hands. And if we want to communicate with compassion and be giving and sharing in the world, we need to give ourselves some love too. All right, and this last one we're going to do is at the head of the ulnar bone. So if you take your hand here, pinky side, and right here, right at the head of the ulna. So you might even find just a little space between your wrist bone, one of your wrist bones, and the head of the ulna. And this is called the spirit gate. It's good for insomnia and emotional stress and memory. What did I just say? Let's do the other side. So if you have 5 minutes, and instead of, playing Candy Crush on your phone, give your hands some love, or whatever your go-to is when you're feeling emotional stress. Choose one of these points. You can't go wrong with the joining valley one we did earlier. All right, now let's just release that by taking the finger and rubbing down, a little bit of wiggle at the end, rather the hand, rubbing down the ring finger, little love, middle finger, little love, ring finger. Of course, you could do this with some oil on your hands. That might make it a little bit more fluid, but it's not necessary. And then around the thumb. Let's go to the other hand. Enjoy some deep breaths. Thumb. Take a moment. Hands at your side, eyes closed. Perhaps you feel a lightness or an aliveness in your hands. Those are both energies of the heart, or the fire element. As we open these meridian lines in the hands, we're opening that feeling of joyfulness and aliveness and spirit in our being. Enjoy that today. Be well.